My name's Jack Truscott. I was born within the sound of Bow Bells in London. Just after the war, I moved north with my parents to Leeds. I left school at 15 and took an engineering apprenticeship. This gave me a good practical background for what I do now. I'm now a master gun maker at the Royal Armouries. I enjoy sponsorship of the Royal Armouries, but I have to be self-funding. This I do by doing repairs, restorations, historic reproductions, for museums, collectors, film companies, etc.
It's 250 years since the Battle of Truscott. That took place on this barren corner near Inverness on April 16, 1746. It was here that the army of George II finally broke the rebel Jacobite forces, ending Stuart claims on the throne of England and Scotland.
Jack, thanks very much for allowing us to come down and film you doing some of your work down here as master gunmaker for the Armouries Museum in Leeds. What is it you're actually on with now, Jack?
Well, at the moment we're engaged in restoring an old flintlock pistol.
Right.
Having said flintlock, it was flintlock, and in its day it was converted to percussion.
Right.
Perhaps
okay.
I'm getting too anorak, but...
Well, you're an expert in these things, and it obviously shows. Is this a particular famous gun?
It's made by Joseph Egg, who was a quality maker of the time.
Yes, I know the name, yes.
We're talking about 1810, something like that.
Right, so it's a fairly old gun.
Yeah, and it's been made as a dueling pistol, and it was one of a pair.
Yeah,
One of the hammers has been lost from one of the pistols, so what we have here is a hammer of the other pistol,
right.
And this is a hammer we've made,
right,
and fitted to the pistol with the missing hammer.
So that hammer is off a similar gun.
Yeah, this one's made, in other words.
And this is the one you've actually made from
scratch? We've made this, yes.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
The next step, what we're going to do, is actually finish engraving.
Yes.
The same pattern as that, as near as possible.
Okay.
So, and case harden it and fit it back onto the pistol.
Have you actually made this from scratch in this workshop here?
Yes, we have.
The whole lot?
Yeah, the whole thing.
That's absolutely fantastic. That, I mean, it's such an intricate piece of engineering. But then, I mean, you've got an engineering history, haven't you?
Yes, that's true.
And that, and of course, the gun side of it developed on from that. It's a natural progression, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
You've got a fine array of weapons here. Can you just talk us through them? What's this interest in this particular one?
This is an Indian-made reproduction of what they call an English lock.
Right.
English dog lock.
Right.
It's basically a very early flintlock, early 17th century.
Now, when you say reproduction, is it one that you've made here?
We've not made this. No.
Right.
It's been made in India. It's the kind of thing we sell actually to reenactment groups, etc.
Oh, I see. I mean, what sort of value would there be on that? I mean, if I was a colonel from a Cromwellian army reenactment group, what sort of money would I expect to pay for that?
You'd pay about £400.
About £400.
But we couldn't possibly make it
for that money, of course not. No. And did you say it was
made?
Another
nought on the end if we made it.
Right.
It's made in India.
It's actually made in India. Of course, labour's a lot cheaper there, isn't it? And does the thing actually? I mean, it'll fire. Will it? It fires blanks.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's actually a shotgun.
Oh, it's actually a
smoothbore weapon. Yeah.
Oh, so
fire,
it could actually cause somebody some serious damage then.
It could do, yes.
Brilliant. And what about this one here? I noticed this one's got on here. Engraved the Marathon Man.
Yeah. These are reproduction blank firing matchlock muskets.
Right. Okay.
They're made for the Honourable Artillery Company.
I see.
Who perform the ceremonial guard for the Lord Mayor of London.
Right.
They dress up in 17th century costumes and they do a drill procedure, perform a drill. But because the nature of the drill and everything else, they can't muzzle load them in the traditional manner. So what we've done is developed a blank firing mechanism that is breech loading.
Right, okay.
And it takes a standard 12 ball blank round.
Right.
It won't accept a 12 ball cartridge, so there's no danger of anybody.
Right, nobody's going to get hurt by
Nobody's going to get hurt.
And
But from 12 feet away, they look like
they look like the real thing
Yeah.
and sound like the real thing,
Yes,
which is very
yes.
important. And that's these four, is it? So these four are identical.
They're all identical.
Made for that purpose.
We've made 21 in all.
Oh right, big
And
numbers.
this is the last batch, really.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Okay. What about this one at the bottom? Now that's a little bit smaller, but I guess is it still a rifle, or is it?
That's a wheel lock pistol.
Right. I mean, it looks fairly old as that. And
late 16th century wheel lock pistol, 1700 round. That particular example, I think, is probably Flemish, something like that.
Right. So
it's here as an actual pattern because we have a reproduction to make.
Right, I see.
Which is over here. But,
oh right, okay. Oh, so that we'll come on to the stock in a moment, but that's actually going to be part and parcel of that.
It's going to be something similar kind of pistol to that.
Jack, I notice on your workbench that you've got a stock there that I presume you've made here in the workshop. Can you just tell us a little bit of something about that and what it's going to be fitted to?
Actually, it's a stock for a reproduction wheel lock pistol we have to make. This is the original wheel lock pistol that we are to use as a pattern. And as you can see from the shape of the stock, I know it's just roughly cut out, but it's English walnut.
English walnut.
English walnut, yeah.
When you say you've cut that out, you've actually used, I noticed you've got a bandsaw across there, the other side of the workshop.
Yeah, it's been used on the bandsaw.
That's come off the bandsaw. And again, you've done that yourself?
We have, yes. Yes. We also have a barrel here, which is an old barrel that's salvaged. We've rebored it, rebreached it, and it's been submitted to proof. It's past proof, so that's ready to go.
Jack, can I just ask you, I understand the rebore, but rebreach, what does that mean exactly?
Well, we've made new breech.
Right.
The breech is a screw-in plug here. You can see the joint.
I see.
So that is drilled and vented, which
right.
means it can be fired, and the thing has now been proved.
Right.
It's been proof tested. So.
And that contraption there is?
This is the original lock, which will let in that position, as you can see from our pattern now.
Brilliant, excellent. How long has it taken you to get to this stage with this? How many man hours would you put in for that?
I would think it's probably taken about 35 hours.
35 hours?
Yes.
So, from the stock and all the rest of it, the flip, how long would it take you to actually have the finished replica product?
Well, approximately if we were to pick it up from scratch and start, I would think about 4 to 5 weeks. 4 to
5 weeks. Now, I mean, that seems to me, for the amount of work and the skill involved, that seems to me quite quick, actually, to produce a weapon of this nature, this calibre.
If we sat down and did nothing else.
Ah, of course.
The nature of the business here isn't like that.
Of course.
Things, with so much work going through the workshop, it's actually a juggling game.
Sure.
So we have our other priorities, etc. So jobs are run on together concurrently.
And I guess that if the Armouries Museum, of which you're attached to, I guess if they click the fingers, you've got to.
Well, yes, I would.
Yes, because they're the main customers for you. I mean, do you do a lot of work for them?
As it's steady, really.
Yeah.
Depends from time to time what projects are actually going on here.
Right.
That's where I get involved in, really.
And can I ask you, Jack, is it limited to just to firearms as far as the museum's concerned, or do you do any swords or anything else?
We do occasional sword work, etc.
Right.
The firearms, the Royal Armouries do presentation swords, etc. for retiring dignitaries, etc. We quite often engrave or etch blades here for, with inscriptions.
Right, brilliant.
For them.
Yeah.
We did Leeds civic sword for the Royal Armouries.
Oh, right.
And several others.
Brilliant. And as far as your general customers are concerned, I mean, I guess they're worldwide, aren't they? I mean, do you export product all over the world?
Yes, we're international really,
Sure.
but majority of the work comes from this country.
Yeah. And how many people in your profession are there actually in the UK, do you think? I mean, there can't be many, can there?
They're not, no. I don't know everybody.
No, of course not.
There's a lot of specialists, well, not a lot, several specialists who
Right.
just specialise perhaps in barrel work or stock,
I see.
etc.
Yes, right.
So sometimes we farm barrel work or stock work out to those.
To another builder.
Yes. Mainly the reasons because we're limited as what we do in here, and there's the time factor as well.
Yeah.
We'll take a job and we'll get somebody else to build a barrel while we're doing other aspects of that job.
Right, okay. And is there
And
anybody...
that's true of those as well.
Yeah.
Other gun makers and things like that, they'll send us engraving work particularly or something like that.
Have you got an assistant? Is there anybody that's going to carry on the business as it was for the future?
A guy who comes in and helps me weekends, etc. But as far as succession is concerned, no, we haven't.
Right. Because I mean, that's a big issue, isn't it, these days? Not just with this aspect, this sort of work, but across the board on anything where there's skills are involved.
Mm.
There isn't a pull through, is there anymore?
No.
People coming forward.
Successions of government, economic reasons, etc.
Absolutely, yeah.
If we're training somebody, we're not getting paid for it.
Of course.
And of course, with the education system as it is now, health and safety affects, there's no more metal work taught at schools, there's no more woodwork taught at schools, etc. So kids leave school with no practical training at all. So if they came in here from scratch from school, we've got to start giving them good practical knowledge before they actually get on to doing any gun making or gun work at all.
So really,
while we're doing that, we're not getting paid.
it's a bit like the undertaking profession, isn't it, really, funeral directors, because it's dying.
You've never looked at it that way, but yes. Which is one of the reasons, I guess, I'm in the museum.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hi, please have a musket ball and a 45 Colt bullet.
50p, what are they? £1.50, please. Thank you very much. You hear the health and safety warning? They're made of lead. Okay, so don't put them in your mouth, obviously. And wash your hands after you've been handling them. Okay? Thank you very much.
Do you have a keyring?
You can. Which one?
Small.
Thank you very much.
Have another bullet.
What would you like? 3 or 3s? That's 125, please. Let's get the change. Thank you very much.
Could you perhaps tell us what these machines actually do and what you make with them?
Well, this is a milling machine, Peter.
Right.
What it is basically like a big drill, if you like.
Right, okay.
And it rotates a milling cutter here, which is a series of cutting surfaces. These are high-speed steel or carbide, depending on the type of cutter. And this will cut shape, if you
Right,
like,
okay.
pieces of steel. It removes metal, so we can cut slots. For
So
barrels.
it's a jack of all trades, isn't it? This
Yeah, I mean,
particular
it's a very,
machine?
very useful machine.
Whereas this one here is really self-explanatory, isn't it?
Well,
Because
it's a bandsaw,
it's a
yes.
bandsaw. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't say much more about a
I mean,
bandsaw.
We'll cut out stock blanks, etc. on bits of woodwork.
Yeah, yeah.
But having said that, it's a very handy
Oh,
machine.
it's a
very
must-have
useful.
machine, isn't it? Yeah. And then this I can remember from my school days because we had a similar type of thing in our woodwork, a metalwork class at school. And basically, I mean, it's a drilling machine, isn't it?
Yeah, pedestal drill.
Pedestal drill is the word I was looking for. But what about this, Jack? What's this one?
This is our small centre lathe. Basically what it does is hold work in a chuck here and rotate it, like so. The tool here, we can move it in that plane, across that way, or that way.
So
That will remove metal.
Right, it's a turning device, is it?
It's a turning device,
Right.
yeah. You may be familiar with wood lathe.
Yes,
The chisel.
yes.
Yes. This is basically for metal work.
And can that do a gun barrel, for instance?
It can, yes.
Right.
Obviously, it's limited with its length.
Sure. Yeah.
We have a larger lathe down here.
That's
which
this
will
big
take
green
the gun
thing
barrel,
down here. Right.
Yeah. It's basically the same machine, but larger.
Right. So I mean, how long a gun barrel can you have on this larger lathe?
About 40, 50 inches. I've never actually measured it.
Right. So, but that's a fair size, though, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, most gun barrels will get on that lathe.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you want to use a little demo of this? Can you do
Yeah,
that?
sure. I can just run that to show how it will cut along that lathe. And it will also go along that plane.
Brilliant. Excellent.
The depth of cut we can adjust.
Right. And can it cut inside the tube?
We need to change the tool though.
Right.
It also has a power feed.
Yeah. Smells lovely. Do you have to constantly feeding the some oil or lubricating fluid?
You can use lubricating fluid, that's also a very good tool. What I'm doing now is I'm going to transfer this design that's engraved on the flat of that hammer there onto there. So what I will do is light the smoke lamp to make sure I have a good covering of smoke on there, and by using ordinary sellotape lay that over the top. As I lift it off, you'll see I have a smoke impression there of the design. I'll stick it onto the paper, so I'll then go down to the engraving bench and I can refer to that as reference.
So that's instead of what, tracing, is it, I suppose?
Yeah, I mean what I can do as well, and which in fact I may do yet, I don't know, I need to try it, is take another smoke print and lay it on top of that.
Right.
And if it fits exactly fine, but they don't always.
Right, okay. And this is what? Is this a trick? This is a trick of the trade, is it?
This is the trick of the trade, yeah.
Right.
And what I'll do is lay that over the top, and if it's stuck down, I can then prick through the main points of the design. What I'm doing now is just marking the borderline out by scratching the surface so I can...
Is this mild steel that you're working on?
This is mild steel, yes. I'm going to use this vibrator. Now this can be actually done by hand by pushing the tool, but it's far easier these days to use it. Yes, as you can see, all I've done here is actually marked out just the rough outline of the design here and started that scroll down the bottom there. And I did the top earlier, as you can see.
Are these swords that you've made?
No, we haven't made these. These are actually been made in India. We've imported them. They're quite good copies of the existing patterns of the original swords.
Right.
But we sell them from this unit. They're quite quite
Yeah.
good value for money.
And
We couldn't make them at the price. we
Of course
sell
not.
them.
No, I can imagine.
No.
And are they actually replicas of swords that's in the museum, the original ones?
Yeah, examples of the original ones can be seen in the museum here. Yes.
That's excellent. What sort of money, without giving any secrets away, what sort of money do these things range at? How much would I need to buy a sword off?
Well, say for an example, this one, which is a copy of 1831 General Officer's Marmite sword, we sell that for £170.
Right.
Um,
That's in
that's-
its case, is it?
That's as it comes like that. It has an etch blade.
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, there is no way we could make a sword of
No,
this
of course.
quality for that kind of money.
Yeah, they do seem to represent excellent value,
Yeah.
don't they? And are they for decoration mainly then?
You can buy them as decorators, or a lot of reenactment groups buy them.
Of course.
Napoleonics, etc.
I would imagine some of these guys that's members of reenactment groups, they must spend an awful lot of money on such as swords and
On
rifles.
kit they do,
On
yes.
kit, yeah.
Swords, costume.
So, I mean, you'd have to be really keen, wouldn't you, to actually lay that sort of money out?
Yes, yes.
Excellent stuff. So I understand, Jack, that we're going to have a demonstration now of one of these rifles being fired. Which one are you going to use?
I think we're going to use the top blank iron musket.
Right. Well, you want to grab that then and we'll go outside and give it a go.